Rita Lasar was a founding member of September 11th Families for Peaceful Tomorrows. She lost her brother Avram on September 11th, 2001. When President Bush mentioned Abe's heroic actions in a speech at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., Lasar expressed outrage that her brother's sacrifice was being used to justify the invasion of Afghanistan. After the invasion began, she joined a delegation to visit families who lost loved ones in the U.S. assault and to witness firsthand the impact of the bombings. Just before the one-year anniversary of her brother's death, Rita Lasar wrote this commentary.
When the planes hit the World Trade Center last September 11th, my brother Avram, who was in the North Tower, refused to join the evacuation because he was concerned for the safety of his close friend and fellow worker, a quadriplegic who could not easily leave. So Avram stayed, hoping that help would arrive. When it didn't, he and his lifelong associate died together, along with thousands of other innocent New Yorkers. That day changed my life. It changed the lives of all those who lost loved ones in the towers. It changed the lives of the relatives of those on the flights that crashed in Pennsylvania. It changed the lives of hundreds of families who lost loved ones in the Pentagon. And perhaps, to a lesser extent, it changed the lives of most people living in the United States. In the months after the disaster, I often heard how September 11th changed the world. But I don't think the attacks changed the world. And to the extent that we believe that September 11th changed the world, it is because we don't know much about the world in which we live. I've never heard anyone say that the horrific massacres of 1994 in Rwanda, which took more than 500,000 lives, changed the world. Nor have I ever been told that the Indonesians' massacre of 200,000 East Timoris during a 20-year span changed the world. I have not even heard that the daily loss of 8,000 souls in sub-Saharan Africa due to AIDS changed the world. Were these people less important than my dear brother? Despite my own personal grief, I must conclude that in the light of these far greater calamities, September 11th did not change the world. What it did, in its own terrible way, was invite us to join the world, which is already a very troubled place. The question is whether we will accept that invitation. Sadly, President Bush has no interest in doing so. He does not want the United States to join or even cooperate with the new International Criminal Court. He has also withdrawn the United States from the long-standing anti-missile treaty. He refuses to support international agreements that would alleviate global warming, and he will not seek to ratify the treaty banning landmines. And now, the president is planning for a war against Iraq. Never mind that Iraq has committed no act of aggression against us that justifies war, that there has been no evidence linking Iraq to the September 11th attacks. Neither does the president seem to care that the world is opposed to an invasion of Iraq. An isolated United States is an unsafe country. As September 11th showed, there are no barricades high enough, no bombs big enough, no intelligence sophisticated enough to make us invulnerable. We Americans have a choice. We can conclude that we are alone, that we owe the world nothing, and that the world owes us everything. This is the assumption implicit in Bush's "you're either with us or against us" stance, which is a short-sighted and self-centered philosophy. Or we can open our eyes and see the abundance of opportunities for making the planet a safer and more just place by actively participating in international organizations, multilateral treaties, and protocols that advocate peace and social equality. We can no longer afford a go-it-alone approach. If we want the world's help in getting at the roots of terrorism, we are going to have to start helping the rest of the world. We are going to have to comprehend that there are millions of people around the globe who understand all too well the horror of tragedies like September 11th. When that realization occurs, only then will we glimpse how September 11th changed the world.